As noted in the previous panel, the recitation of the Birchat Kohanim is found in 3 locations throughout the Siddur. We have Birchat Kohanim as part of the Seder Nesiat Kapayim Duchanin. We have Birchat Kohanim as part of the Seder Kriyat Shema al Hamitah. And the 3rd instance of Birchat Kohanim is the Tefillah under discussion as part of the Birchat HaShachar. One difference between the 3 instances is the inclusion of 2 psukim, beginning with the V'aydaber Hashem el Moshe LEIMOR and also the V'samu et Shmi al Bnei Yisrael. Both sets of pasukim bracket the actual Birchat Kohanim. In this panel, we shall be looking at the first bracket of Pasukim, beginning with Bamidbar 6:22, where we have Vayadaber Hashem El Moshe LEIMOR, a communication that takes place between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Moshe Rabbeinu. A pasuk that is found 14 times in Sefer Shmot, 35 in Sefer Vayikra, 45 in Bamidbar, and twice in Sefer Dvarim. 2 verbs. Vayadaber with a dalad bet reish shorish, to speak, is the translation favored by most of the translators, and LEIMOR, aleph mem reish, to articulate, to say, to organize one's speech. The lamed prefix would technically be translated as to say, and the translation of choice for most of the translators is saying, which I would understand as suggesting the equivalent of what we have in English, a set of quotation marks, which of course do not exist within the Chumash text. The quotation marks referring to the information contained in the follow-on pasuk of Daber el Aharon ve'el banav LEIMOR, etc. And here once again we have the couplet of 2 verbs, Daber and LEIMOR. The Daber in this case is the command format. Speak to Aharon and to his sons. LEIMOR once again, saying. And the saying refers to the follow-on of Ko Tavarechu et Bnei Yisrael, etc. Once again, the verbs, Tavarechu with a tough prefix and a bet reish chaf shoresh. Bet reish chaf, to bless, to thank, to praise, to greet. It is also connected to the birchayim, the knees, hence to kneel. And the outlier to beis reish chaf is to curse, which coincidentally is the polar opposite to the first shorish translation of bet reish chaf, to bless. Tivarechu, you shall bless. The object of this command is the Bnei Yisrael. Tivarechu et Bnei Yisrael, you will bless the Bnei Yisrael. Ko Tivarechu et Bnei Yisrael, the ko like this, in the following manner, with these words. So that the full translation of this phrase, ko, this is the format that you will use, Tavarechu et Bnei Yisrael, when you bless the Bnei Yisrael. Amar lahem, you are to say, you are to pronounce, to utter to them the following 3 statements. They are, Yivarechecha Hashem v'yishmerecha, Ya'eh Hashem panav elecha v'chuneka, and Yisa Hashem panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. One final point on the topic of the word LEIMOR, which, as I noted earlier, most translators nowadays render the entire phrase as, and Hashem spoke to Moshe, saying, and the saying would reflect that the words follow would be bracketed with quotation marks. There are 2 other options. The first from the Living Torah, from the late Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan. His approach was to render the phrase V'edaber Hashem el Moshe, and Hashem spoke to Moshe, LEIMOR, telling him to Daber LaHaron ve'el banav, saying. Alternatively, the translation offered in the Chumash Tiferet Tzvi, that reflects the approach of Rabbi Shimshon Raphael Hirsch, renders the V'edaber Hashem el Moshe, and Hashem spoke to Moshe LEIMOR, saying, Daber el Aharon ve'el banav, speak to Aaron and his sons, LEIMOR, as follows. Both translations avert the short circuit position of merely translating LEIMOR as saying.